Dawning of a day in Pakistan comes with chaos. 6 other journalists and I got up close and personal with the consequences of that chaos. This video shows you how difficult it was to clear barricade after barricade before we could pull into the parking lot of our hotel in the capital city of Islamabad. We went through 2 more TSA-like checkpoints before we walked into the lobby. I took this video in Karachi. Security was even tighter at our Islamabad hotel. The Afghan defense minister and the head of Pakistan's military were meeting for high-level talks about the U.S. pullout of Afghanistan. The newspaper headline screamed at us about danger around every corner.
Every journalist in Pakistan, they risk their lives on a regular basis.
Journalists are the victims of target killings here.
When first blast took place and when he reached there was a second blast and he lost his life along with his cameraman.
The dead journalists were Aqsa Junejo's colleagues. Another journalist also died in that successive bomb blast last month in an area called Quetta. Junejo works for CNBC in Karachi.
Hello.
She recently covered a bomb blast herself.
Fortunately, there wasn't any successive blast. Otherwise, you wouldn't actually see me here. I would have been, I might have been in the other world.
Reporters Without Borders called Pakistan the most dangerous place for journalists to work. Reporters like Shahabuddin cover the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan under the constant threat from the Taliban. He covered a recent attack on the streets of Peshawar, not far from Pakistan's border with Afghanistan. Suicide bombers dressed like Pakistani military blew up a compound. 5 people died.
You can win the war on terror.
The political parties say terrorists are threatening them too. A leader of one of the parties showed us this correspondence from Pakistan's version of the CIA. He was on Al-Qaeda's hit list. Pakistan's other border with India is a little less violent. Its relationship with India is a constant battle. This daily ceremony on the Wagah border between India and Pakistan may be the only peace the 2 countries find. Peace doesn't make the news here. Politics does. Anti-American sentiment and the U.S. foreign policy on drone strikes is a hot topic. Government sources and independent journalists told us bashing America gets viewers to watch the news and read the paper.
We don't meet Americans. They don't know about us.
Pakistanis we met weren't anti-American at all. They shook our hands, talked to us, and took pictures with us. They told us they had a problem with the U.S. drone strikes. The mission is to hunt down Al-Qaeda terrorists.
Drone attacks. Innocent people's killing.
Our 2-week trip across Pakistan allowed us to see a country of survivors. 180 million people jam into the streets on donkeys, rickshaws, buses, cars, and bikes every day. Somehow, they don't crash into each other. Pakistan is about the size of Texas. It's the 6th most crowded country in the world. 70% of Pakistanis are poor. They don't have water or electricity for more than a few hours a day. The lucky ones work for as little as 20 cents a day. We saw the darkness and the decadence of the Arabian Sea in Karachi. The lure of Lahore was in its art and its quirkiness. We stood in the richness of the ruins of Taxila. It's incredible to know these ruins have been here for 2,000 years. They've been through wars, they've been through earthquakes, and they're still standing. The bubble of Islamabad waited for us in Pakistan's capital. The first democratically elected government is supposed to hand over power to another civilian government here in elections in a few months. The world is watching to see if Pakistan's leaders can do it peacefully. If they can, a new day of democracy will dawn in a country fused with chaos, drowning in poverty, and filled with people dreaming of a better life. Somewhere in the middle of this long, lonely street, surrounded by slums and suffering, is a place where hope floats. Children crave the care, mothers require the remedy, and fathers bear the burden.
Poor people. They all belong to this area. There's some villages near.
Need comes walking through this doctor's office in Lahore, Pakistan, 6 days a week. Her cure comes with compassion and capsules.
Medicine is very cheap here.
The cost to get care is 10 cents if patients can afford it. It's free if they cannot. The check to run it comes from thousands of miles away.
I thought I owe something to Pakistan.
From a living room
We both come from that country.
in a suburb in St. Louis.
I got my education in Pakistan, and my parents insisted that I should return my knowledge and my know-how to the country of origin. And in their memory, we started this clinic in 1994.
Dr. Sadiq Moihuddin is an internal medicine doctor.
Hi, Edith. How are you feeling today?
He practices in Alton.
Now, are you taking your medication regularly or not?
He and his wife Talat immigrated to the St. Louis area 30 years ago. This is home.
We are what that country has brought us to be.
They cannot forget where they've come from and why they must give back.
That was our aim, to serve an area where we knew people needed the help the most.
They spend close to $2,000 every month to keep their clinic in Lahore going. They say every penny comes from their pocket. Sometimes they buy the meds and take them to Pakistan a few times a year. Sometimes they send the money for this doctor to buy the pills and prescriptions. 75 to 80 people walk in through the doors daily.
Considering our population, it's not even a drop in the bucket.
10 million people live in Lahore. It is the 25th most crowded city in the world. 70% of the people in Pakistan live in extreme poverty. They don't have water or electricity for more than a few hours a day.
Help has to be brought to them. These people don't have means to reach up to big cities, big centers.
The United States sent Pakistan $63 million last year for basic health services.
Somehow, it's not reaching the people which is it's intended for. Somewhere within the system, it's disappearing. The common man knows the word America, the drone, the wars, but they don't see the food coming from America. They don't see the blankets coming from America.
The Moihuddins feel an obligation as Americans to change the hearts and minds of people here in their small piece of Pakistan.
If it doesn't come to you, it doesn't exist for you. Simple as that.
She says simple acts of kindness don't need wings to fly thousands of miles.
Wherever people need help, those who are in capacity of helping others should move and be motivated to help out others. It doesn't have to be overseas. It doesn't have to be in another state. It could be within Baldwin, within St. Louis, within East St. Louis.
The street of service
My ambition is to open like 100 clinics
doesn't end here.
where we can bring the healthcare to the people.
On the long, lonely streets of Lahore, hope keeps the doors open and the people coming.